All right, GM. Everybody, good morning, afternoon, evening, depending on where you are joining us from. Welcome to another live stream in Onchain Africa by AfroPlay. And it's been an amazing week so far. Today is Wednesday, which is the sixth day of the month of May. I hope your May has been going smooth. You've had fun, you've enjoyed the month so far, and I hope you'd continue enjoying the month of May. All right, so you're welcome once again to one of our exciting editions of our live streams here on Twitter or YouTube, depending on where you're streaming from. And one thing that we do on Onchain Africa is the fact that we speak to people building amazing things in Africa here in the Web3 space. And we try to cover them, tell their story, talk about what they are building here in the ecosystem, not just to push out what they are building, but also to motivate you watching me right now to learn from what they've done, what they're doing, how they started, and how they got to where they are today. So if you look forward to doing something amazing here in the ecosystem, I think our live stream is not something you actually want to miss. All right. So if you have a friend that should be on this live stream, do want to invite them. I would love to admonish, encourage, plead with you also to do well to retweet this. It's not going to cost you anything. Retweet the live stream. And if you're on YouTube, you could always share the link with your friend. And also share this link on your WhatsApp status or whatever social media platform you are quite conversant with. I really appreciate that. I think it's the only favor I'll be asking of you. Any other favor, I'm not sure I'm going to be doing that in the nearest future. All right, so far it's been an amazing week. Some days back, I think that was on Monday, we had an amazing guest called Jade, who is the founder of MoneyPay. Jade is building something interesting, such as what we call Bonka, what Bonka is doing on Twitter. Jade is doing something similar to that here in Africa. He's also a Nigerian. You can do what? Look at our previous live stream, either on YouTube or here on Twitter, to listen to Jade's experience, learn what he's building. And if you are looking for a project to actually invest into, I don't give financial advices, but these are live streams you don't want to miss. You can also do research and also listen to what the founder has to say. So you're welcome today to one of our live streams. Today's live stream is very unique for me and should also be unique to you too. Why? Because this is our first female guest. The only lady that has appeared on our live stream was the co-founder of a particular project which we talked about. I think that was the first live stream we had here on Onchain Africa. But today we're having a female guest joining us today. And the second thing that makes her very unique is the fact that she's not a Nigerian. So I was speaking to a lot of Nigerians. Today's guest, I'm not having a Nigerian with me. I'm having somebody from a different country, but within the African continent. You're welcome, Sonia. How are you doing today? Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Thank you so much for the invite. Honored to be here and I'm loving every bit of it. So thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you. I'm also honored to have you, Sonia, Sarah. I'm so excited to have you. And the interesting part is that you're very conversant with what's happening in Nigeria. I think you've been in Nigeria twice for the Women in Device Summit. I think you were around last year and you're also around last month, right?
Oh, yes. It's actually this year, both this year. I was there to support a friend who was doing was part of the team of Enugu Tech Fest, the guys from Blockchain Hub. It's someone I've worked with from my genesis of Web3. So I was so happy that was my first time in Nigeria and I got to travel to a different part rather than Lagos. And of course, I had to come and support my woman, that is Sarah Idosa, on the Women in DeFi. She's a very, platonic woman. So I was so happy to be there. Thank you.
Oh, amazing. So far, since you become to Nigeria, you're not, I won't call you a visitor anymore. Like, what's one thing that you enjoy the most about Nigeria? If there's anything, all right, be honest.
Yes, something that I enjoyed about Nigeria is, of course, how the zeal that you guys have of making it. You go to a Web3 event, the event is packed. You're talking about Web3. You guys are understanding each other. And of course, you guys are very loving and welcoming. So I just felt so nice being around Lagos, being around with the ladies as well. Yeah, so it was lovely.
Oh, nice. So last question about Nigeria. What's your Nigerian favorite meal that you can't forget?
Oh, I didn't see that coming. But you
Yeah.
know what? I tried egusi. I didn't. It makes me too full. However, since I eat okra, I like that the other one. What do you call this? Obono.
Ogbono,
Yes, I enjoyed
fantabulous.
obono.
That's nice. So I was expecting to actually mention probably the jollof rice, but I think you didn't
And
really
the
enjoy that.
indomie. Wait, and your indomie. Yes.
Like, okay, we make it differently here.
Yes, yes, the way you guys put. So as we do make our indomines, but um we really don't really fry it, so to say.
Really?
Yeah, yeah, it's just plain. But when I took the indomines, they had all these carrots, all these. I loved everything about the indomie.
That's nice. We actually experiment a lot here in Nigeria. So the regular Indomie is different here in Nigeria. Actually, we have the way the English make it in Nigeria, the locals make it in Nigeria. Like everybody just has what works for them, and it's good. So
Nice.
thank you so much, Ren. Thank you so much. So let's just dive into why we are here this afternoon. And
Mhm.
I'm very honored to have you. By the way, for those of you that don't know about Sarah, Sarah is one of the voices of Web3 here in the African ecosystem, not just limited down to Kenya, but down to everywhere in the African world, and she's somebody representing the women here in the ecosystem or the Web3 space at large. So Sarah, let's go back a little bit into your past before you started doing Web3. What was your life like before you found Web3?
It was just any simple person working in the Web2 ecosystem, right? I
Mm-hmm.
mean, grinding, hustling, looking for better opportunities. And of course, I had done my interns in the airport, operation industry and everything. I had met some lovely people. I'm a good, I network very good and I keep network very lovely. And you can tell when you meet, I'm very, very warm at heart. So I had met some friends and, I had kept in touch with those guys. And yeah, that was my life before Web3. Just
Mm-hmm.
working, just a normal Kenyan lady grinding. Yeah. And I was
Amazing.
in my mid 20s. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Okay. So how long have you been in the Web3 space now, by the way?
not so long. I could say around 5 years, 5, 6 years there, because it was during 2020 and now it's 6 years, so over half a decade.
Hmm. Well, if
Mhm.
I'm to ask right now, what is one thing you've learned in the space of 5 years that you've been in the space? What's one thing you've learned so far?
That timing matters, communication as well matters, staying calm matters, and of course, being very, very consistent matters. And now and then you will be hearing my daughter come in and saying hi when we are doing these. I
No
mean,
problem.
that's what it takes being a Web3 mom as well.
That's
Yeah.
okay. So, if there's one thing you know now that you wish you had known when you started your Web3 journey, what would that thing be?
That a mentor is a real important person in this journey, like somebody
Mm,
who is guiding you. I came to learn years later about that, right? And I was just let me just say, I wasn't taking the person who introduced me to web through like a real mentor. I wasn't taking advantage of him the way I was meant to, because he had all the knowledge, I could say, at that time. You understand? So maybe I could just tell people that a mentor is a really important person in this industry, because and a good mentor for that case. Yeah, someone who is genuinely guiding you, someone who is genuinely taking you around, and not taking advantage of you as
mm,
well, but strictly guiding you and taking you into places. Also, a mentor who has good credibility. That is
mm,
quite important.
mm. So I think one thing that people that are watching this right now should learn is the fact that mentors are very, very important in your growth journey here in the Web3 space. You can't do it all on your own. You need people that have paid the price to know the things that you should know, and you can easily learn from their experience and things they've known so far. So quickly, let's just get down to who you are personally, Sarah. Um, in layman terms or simple terms, tell us
Mhm.
who you are, what you do in the Web3 space, and things that people should know about you.
Okay, I will say that I'm more of a connector, because I mean, I've done onboarding quite a lot. I've onboarded a lot of people I know in the Kenyan Web3 space and East African as well. I have people who I onboarded. Basically, they knew nothing about Web3, right? And right now, I could say they are gurus. Some are builders. Some have good startups. A startup and a product are two different things. Some have
Mm,
very amazing startups. And I've carried a lot of people along with me. So I'm definitely known as a mom who have birthed a lot of Web3 babies. I could say that.
interesting. So let's say a mother that helps people get onboarded here in the Web3 space and all of that. So now I know when you are trying to talk to people about something that is really new,
Hmm.
there are probably challenges that you'd experience. I
Yeah.
mean, when I heard about Web3 for the first time, it was completely I was confused. I didn't know what it was. All right. So how has it been like educating people and onboarding them into the ecosystem so far? How has it been like for your experience?
Before I cracked the code, right? Of course, the experience was very, um, is disappointing the right word to say? Because
Mm,
you'll find that in Africa before, without now, where we are, I wouldn't say it's where we were last time, because there was this mentality of crypto, anything to do with crypto is
it's
scam,
fun. Yeah.
correct? But we're not there now. We've moved past that. We are past that conversation. Right now, you're finding, like I said, even in Weed Summit, right? It's fascinating to see that rails built on blockchain are actually being used without
Mm,
the mention of crypto around it, right? You've seen
yeah.
stable coins being used, and as well, I could say maybe the government or the support we are getting, because if you look at it, even when you look at Kenya and Rwanda and Ghana as well, the crypto passporting, the MOU of crypto passporting, such that a founder in Nairobi can actually operate in Kigali. A founder in Kigali or Mzanzi can actually operate in Ghana, and it's quite amazing. So right now, apart from the challenge we had before, for now, the biggest challenge we have is, it's maybe the regulation, fragmentation, which I think it's across everywhere in Africa. But if we
Mm,
crack those code, the conversation will be in every homestead.
mm,
At this point, we are not in every homestead. And for me, I was thinking when we get to homestead, like, what do I mean? If you look at Kenya for now, and M-Pesa, Kenya is the hub of tech, right? Nairobi
yes.
is the hub of tech, like in Africa. I'm proud to say that.
I would definitely agree with that.
Yeah, so you'll find that, for example, right, if you were to look at, Kenya, with the use of mobile money, and that is M-Pesa, right? You find that conversation is in the house, it's in every homestead, whether it's in the rural villages, whether it's in the urban setup, that conversation is there. However, we as blockchain, or we as, Web3 people, that conversation is not there. So I'll look at success, and what success will look for me is the moment that we get a Web3 conversation in every homestead,
In everyone.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I think this is something that every country in Africa is actually experiencing. I started saying that
Mhm,
crypto is a scam. I remember when I heard about Web3, sorry, heard about Bitcoin for the first time. I think that was in early 2017, 18, thereabout. And it was more like
mhm,
an investment scheme which I participated in. My money, I lost all the money. I think it was about in naira back then. I think it was about 12,000 naira thereabout. So I lost
mhm,
all the money to Bitcoin, and I think, like they say, once bitten, twice shy. I stopped everything I had to do with cryptocurrency. I just thought it was a scam and a fraudulent activity. Not until late 2022 thereabout, then I had proper education, proper awareness, proper onboarding into the space, and I realized that this is the future of finance that
mhm,
everybody has to be aware of, especially here in Africa. The interesting part I feel, and I tell people many times, that being a 12 world nation is more like an advantage than a
mhm.
disadvantage,
Yeah.
because smart people would see the future, what other countries are incorporating. I mean, last year we had Donald Trump announcing that the GDP of the United States is going to be on chain. Those are countries that are ahead of the world, and someone that thinks ahead obviously knows where the world is moving into, and this is the time to learn, start understanding how Web3 is going to be, and how you can participate or position yourself for future opportunities that has to
Mhm,
do with blockchain or cryptocurrency.
mhm.
So you said something that you are a connector, that you connect people. Like, I would love you to explain that more. How do you connect? What do you connect people to? Do you connect them to money? Do you connect them to opportunities? Do you connect them to fundraising?
Mhm.
Just explain further.
Oh yes. I'll say is I'll connect them with opportunities, right? Please don't come looking for opportunity in terms of money. Of
Please,
course,
I'm
money.
coming in terms of everything. Sorry.
All right. So anyway, jokes aside,
Yeah.
by connector I meant is I'll connect you from the Web 2 world to Web 3, where,
Mm,
I mean, like I said before the beginning of this conversation, I've had people who have given birth to great startups, not only products, right? And you find that I've connected them with the right blockchains to build their products. I've connected them with the right working teams. I've connected them probably with the right investors. Yes, I have done that, and so many more, right? Yeah, so I'm in a connector in that sense.
mm. That's nice, connecting people. So
Yeah.
I think another thing, talking about this connecting aspect of you, I
Mhm.
think that was, I think last year November or thereabout, you traveled a lot. You went for different summits, different crypto related events, and all of that. I mean, you were also in Argentina and all of that. Like, how was that experience for you?
Mm. I'll just say that, to be honest, to begin with Buenos Aires, because I went to Argentina. I think I went to Argentina last year. I also
Mhm.
went to Sao Paulo. Okay, in September, I went to Brazil. I went to Sao Paulo and Rio, and then I came back to Kenya. And then in November, we had Dev Connect, and I had always hoped to travel for Dev Connect. And for me, I did travel to to Dev Connect, and that was a reset for me in every possible way, because that was my first Dev Connect. I went and I deliberately did that. I deliberately went there to observe, not only to just perform. And funny enough, when I went there, we realized that we Africans, we've not yet gotten the right seat at, in the global table, because fine, Dev Connect was there, it was connecting people. I realized there was there was something missing, and me and some of my colleagues, we did the African, how could I say, the African build meet in Argentina, because
Mhm.
during that time some of our mates had actually faced some I don't want to say racism, but yeah, it was actually black and white. I think it was a conversation that was going through. So we needed a platform where we are talking as founders, as people who have traveled overseas, for because look at it, from Kenya, from Nairobi to Buenos, there's not even straight flight. You have to spend over 17 hours or even more for people who actually went to maybe South Africa or to Ethiopia to make their connects with plenty of crazy layovers. Plenty, we had gone there, and we realized that if we do something for we Africans who are here, just to sit down, make some African food, connect, talk. And me and of course and David, we did that, and it was quite amazing, and Purity as well, and team. So we did that. We realized that, we reached out, and people came. It was home. I mean, home away. It was home away. Yeah, it was home away. We spoke and we understood that we have serious builders in Africa, and this and the density of our builders, because these people are people who invested their money in traveling, their time as well, just to go and catch the global conversation, and we discussed a lot on ways to make home better, with the lessons that we've learned away. And
Mm.
and yeah, basically that is it. And I carried quite a lot, yeah, because um yeah, basically that is it, yeah.
Thank you, because I see you had quite an experience. And I think one thing that I appreciate from what you said you traveled, you saw, and you guys brought it back home to make sure
Yeah.
that you guys have something similar to that there in Kenya. And I think that is the beauty of exposure. When you get exposed to things, you don't just exposed to know, you're also exposed to do or replicate. And
Yeah.
that's how life should be. And we also should get better as Africans also. And for those of you guys just joining us right now, you're welcome to Onchain Africa by Afroplay. And this is one live stream. This should be your go-to live stream that you should not miss to speak to any African founder from different needs, from DeFi, stable coins, B2Bs, P2Ps, GameFis, everything that exists in the Web3 space. As long as it's being built by an African, this is your go-to spot to listen to their story and to also experience whatever it is that they are sharing with us on this live stream too. So please, today we have Sonia, who is from Kenya, and she's someone doing amazing things there in Kenya in the African ecosystem. And she has also been to Nigeria many times, also Women in DeFi and other events that happens here in this space. And just in case you would love to follow her on Twitter, I'll be sharing at my screen right now so you can see our page. Please, if you are a lady that aspires to do great things here in the space, please somebody already doing that. So make sure to give her a follow on Twitter. And she's also the president of Stellar Africa too, which we are going to talk about that briefly also. So if you're a lady and you're trying to just find your footing here in the Web3 space, you are scared, you're having doubt if you can also do these things that she's doing, please do not give her a follow. I'm sure our DMs are actually also open. You can shoot her a DM. You guys can have a conversation on how you also can improve and also be a better person, regardless of your gender. As long as a man can do it, a woman should also be able to do that also. So back to you, Sonia, ma'am. Let's talk about your role as the president of Stella East Africa. Number
Oh
one,
yes.
how did you become the president? What was the journey like, and how is it going for you right now?
Okay, to begin with, let me correct you so that I'm the president of Stella East Africa, not Africa.
Yes, Africa, East Africa.
They've divided it into three chapters. We have Yaliwe, who is running the South African chapter, and of course, we have David, who is running the West African chapter. We've been doing that for over 15 months now, and yeah. So to begin my journey, right? My journey was quite interesting on that chapter. I got like selected, you pick this up. It was, I was active on the ecosystem, super, super active, and they were facing a lot of dramas during then, so to say. And I saw an opportunity. I pitched myself, and on a broad daylight, on a call like this, open session like this, with of I think 200 people. I mean, I was the best, I could say, and I've always tried to do that. I've always tried to, to go during that direction. And yeah, and as a woman, I faced a lot of. I usually say, I always bring it up when I got elected. Then I remember, I think it was November. What was it? November or September
Mm.
2024, right? I did face, normal things, and that's why I'm always very passionate about women as well, and that's why you always find me in organization like Women in DeFi. You understand? A community that support people, women like me in tech. I found some men who actually really refused. They were like, no, how can a woman? Do you know they even wrote one time, a very big of why a woman, especially they named me a single mother, like I shouldn't run. It was crazy. But like I always say, like I always told someone else, right? We will always have such kind of stereotype men, who always want to bring men down. However, and I love insisting this on. I've gotten the best of the greatest support in the within the industry by men. So I feel like that is just some cultural men who just what can I say, who never maybe don't believe that a woman can be, can lead and can deliver. And I proved them wrong, because when I got in, I made Stella. It was supposed to be Stella Kenya. I made Stella, Stella become the first, and if you check, even if you check now, I think we Stella East Africa in Kenya or in East Africa, we are the biggest ecosystem at the moment.
Mm.
We're the biggest ecosystem in the East African talk, right? Where our focus has been, creating a hub of developers, a hub of builders. We've had conversation with policymakers. We are already there. So I outperformed and I did very well. And I'll say this, please, Web3, but let me just say that, yeah, for every other lady who feels like she has the zeal to start or to do something, but she fears, I mean, go for it. Shoot, go for it. Because the only way you're going to prove that you can do it is actually if you do it. You do it, and if you feel it from within, please go ahead and chase it. Thank you.
Mm. Thank you. I mean, you just ended it with my next question. I was about to ask that particular question, like, what's your message to a woman that has probably she also has some stereotype related things that are related to her. How does she overcome that and all of that? But I think at some point in your life you've experienced failures. You failed at different instances. So, and I'm sure ladies react to failure differently than guys. Guys will normally have this tough skin against failure, and that's part of life. But as a lady, she processes things differently and more emotionally. But I'm sure you've been there at different points. How did you undo failure and setbacks?
I could say that, and these are my teammates always tell me that. my biggest failure was I trusted some wrong people, or
Mm,
it's trusting the wrong people and wishing them the best, wanting to give them, equal chances like everyone else, and believing in them, and then they come, they don't deliver, they disappoint you, and that. So the biggest failure has been that, being trusting the wrong people, and they try to bring you down with their failures, by the fact that if you don't deliver and I pitched you Web3 bull to someone else who looks like a failure, it's not you, it's me, because I
mm,
took you to a market that I believed in you. So they will always look at me maybe at a point of your mistakes. Like when I ask Sonny to give me to do this, and they refer someone, that person will. So I'm very very careful when it comes to referral, because I've learned to understand that whoever I refer, or whoever I take up with me, even when you look at my clique, like my circle as well, you'll find that I'm very careful who I let around my circle, because I'm going to be identified by those people. And if
mm.
those people are scammers, if those people are not honest people, they lack integrity, then Sunny lacks integrity, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, so I've learned to accept that, and I've learned to be very, 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 very choosy on who to get associated with and how to roll with people.
Mm. I
Mm.
think that's a great lesson you've learned so far. All right,
Mhm.
understanding that when you are talking about or referring people, you are kind of referring yourself or a part of yourself also. As a popular Bible verse says, that show me your friends, and I'm going to tell you who you are. So your
Mhm.
friends actually matters, the people you refer matters, and they actually make or they mar you. All right, so there was a time you actually made an interesting tweet that says that don't treat community as a persona, treat
Mhm.
them as a real deal. Now, I'd
Yeah.
love you to explain us in practice what happens when a leader starts treating Israel community as a persona.
Okay. Yeah. So I made that post, right, intentionally, so that it can get to the right, it's so it can sting and get to the right people, because I mean, a persona is something it's designed for. We are not designed for. We are not designed, we are not designed. Do you understand? We are the real deal. We have to be accountable. We are the real deal, and we want you to be accountable for us, and to us, and for you
Hmm.
as maybe as an ecosystem or whatever, and that difference shows up, I will say, in small decisions, for example, right? Are you asking your community, for example, what do they need before you even, you know let's say, for example, you plan events. Are you even asking your community what do they need, or you just go ahead and maybe, do it, book event, da 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 da, do this, so don't design, don't use us as a design. Look at us as decision, a part of, the way you look at stakeholders, you
Hmm.
consult them, you
Yeah.
understand? I love when we are looked at a point of stakeholders, right? Treat us as your stakeholders, treat us like the real deal, uh feedback should run both ways. Come to me, I come to you, you know and I believe a lot of ecosystem, or maybe leaders, or whoever has a community, makes a lot of mistake in that direction, right? They'll just, keep on sending KPIs, da, 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 doing all those kind of stuff, and forget that this is a community, and communities are different everywhere. Do you understand? For example, let's talk about Africa, let's talk about maybe Latin America, let's talk about Middle East. You always find a different kind of, even communities. For example, let me not even go far. Kenya and Nigeria, the community differs.
Hmm.
I have to treat my stakeholders in a different manner, in a way that resonates with them, so that we can be in a point of understanding each other, and a point of delivery, a point where we deliver things in the most effective way.
Hmm.
Mm.
All right. Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. Like you said, community actually differs, and you have to treat your community as stakeholders. Very,
Yeah.
very important. Like they say here in a popular saying in the crypto space, that community is very, very important. As a project or as a brand, your
Mm.
community actually determines how far you can go and how well you can actually do. So there
Yeah.
is no project if there's no community, and there's no product if there's no user. So community is very, 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 very important. So let me just dive into you a little bit, your brand and what you're building. For the
Mm-hmm.
past 5 or let's say 4 years, what is that huge milestone that you feel you've achieved and you are so excited about?
Okay. Honestly,
Mm-hmm.
it's just the impact. The biggest thing that I've actually built for myself, it's actually the impact, right? I mean, like I told you, I stepped in when there was maybe a lot of, a lot of the Web3 space was not really too confident. Like the community of the world was not, especially our world. I'm not talking about other world. I'm talking about our world. Wasn't too confident with, like you said, crypto was a scam, all those kind of thing, right? So I stepped in when we were still trying to, to educate people, to try to foster this education, trying to make Web3, language be spoken and be heard. We were speaking a language that people were not understanding, but along the way the impact came with it. And for me to be honest, I've always felt that, I just want to be remembered for that. Like, I want you to meet me Web3 bull and you remember that I was true. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm not, I always tell my people that I don't want to be a revelation, right? And I don't want to be a reference point.
Mm-hmm.
I just want, when you say my name, maybe to your people, I want, people will just click and say, you know what, that lady Sonny, you know, Sonny shows up. Sonny does the work. And she actually cares about the people in the room, and not only the opportunity. Because again, we as well as leaders, we only, some of us probably might only care about the opportunity that we get. But again, for me, it's beyond that, and that's why I'll stick with impacts. It's beyond, is this thing right for my community? If my association with this will it bring impact from where I come from, because I want to change the narrative in Kenya, in Africa. So if it's not gonna change that, it's not for me. It's not for me, unfortunately. Yeah.
All right, thank you so much on that. Because I think one thing that everybody should look forward to doing is leaving an impact behind for everybody you've met, positive
Mhm,
impact. Because you could leave negative impact also, but make sure to
mhm,
always leave very positive remarks and impact behind. Very, very important. So I think one narrative that the people from the Western world have actually painted Africans in the fact that we are consumers, we are just takers and all of that. What do you have to say about such narrative? Do you think that's true, or do you think that even though it's true, we are changing the narrative? Or what's your take on that?
no, 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 no. I hate that. I dislike that narrative, so to
Mm,
say, right? I don't want I don't want to be in rooms where we Africans are seen as a charity case. We are not
mm,
charity case. We are not, we are not. I totally don't like ecosystems, or being, with that kind of conversation where they look at us as, and I think majority of these ecosystem or Western world have viewed us in that, in that direction for so long.
yeah.
And it's a conversation I love having, because I want to be in a room where I'm appreciated for what I have and what I'm bringing to the table, not at a point of, of scarcity. I don't want to be looked at a point of scarcity. And that conversation boils me up, really. It really does boil me up, because when you look at us, right? If you look at Africa, I'll just say something about, for example, Kenya. The first mobile money was Kenya, was built by a Kenyan, you know,
Mm,
and the whole conversation around mobile money changed. Do you understand? So when you look at the everything that Africa has, and I mean, it's even more, it's even possible. Oops.
mm. Yeah, sorry, you're muted. Can you please unmute?
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, yeah, like I was saying, I don't want us to be in a room where we are discussed at a point of scarcity. I want us to see that we can build the system. The system we have already built. We have the biggest traction as well, where we can get the system, and I want the system to actually work for us. That
Mhm.
basically it, yeah.
All right, thank you so much. I'm glad that you don't also support this narrative, because I think one thing that we Africans experience is this narrative has driven us into the shell and has made us not seen. All right.
Yeah.
And the one thing that we have to keep pushing is visibility and showing that yes, we can provide solutions. Yes, we can bring things that will not just revolutionize Africa or Nigeria or something, but something that would impact the ends of the world. And that's what we are building, and that's what we keep doing, regardless of what anyone has to say about us or towards us. So I like that mindset also, and I really appreciate it because
Mm.
the way you think, that's who you are. So if you see yourself as a consumer, fine. But if you see yourself as somebody that is bringing something to the table, that's who you're going to be eventually, or as time goes on. So,
And wait,
mhm,
Web3 ball, yeah.
yeah.
And I totally want to know, I want to a little bit disagree, or agree to disagree with you on this one. I always emphasize on my builders and everyone that I meet. Can we change the narrative of change, or and of spending a lot of energy chasing visibility? Do you understand? Like, I
Mm,
have to get to the stage, to get on the stage. I have to be in those rooms, and not always enough energy to actually do the work. Do you understand? And that
mm,
is where some of us have actually fallen behind. Do you understand? We already have everything. We already have everything, and we can do it by ourselves. And I would want us to refocus that one. Let them come to us, because we have it all. Do you
mm.
understand? Let's not keep on chasing that visibility. Oh, I want to be seen. Let's do the work. Let's focus our energy on doing the work and cultivating the visibility within here, not over there. Do you understand?
Yeah, that
Yes.
makes a lot of sense actually. Thank you so much for that
Mhm.
agreement to disagree. Right?
Yes.
All right, or disagreement to agree. Sorry. Yeah. Thank you for that also, for calling our attention back to that. And for those of us joining, if you have any questions for Sonia, please do us leave it in the comment section, either on Twitter or on YouTube. She'll be more than glad to attend to your questions. All right. So, Sonia, I think one thing that a lot of people have experienced in the Web3 space, I mean, for someone who has been here for quite some time, I know I've not been here for so long, but this is one thing I've experienced, that there's a kind of feeling, a kind of energy that comes to the bear market. And you've been in this space for quite some time. I'm sure there was a point that you were not the president of Stellar East Africa, I think. You were not the president, but you kept showing up. You were in their Discord grinding. What did you see? What kept you going? Like, what's the picture you have in your mind as regards to the Web3 ecosystem in Africa that keeps you showing up?
Um, like I said, it's the zeal and the conviction I had with the market. I
Yeah, what's
mean,
that
what it
conviction?
is.
I want to hear.
Yes, like, this is the next thing. This is the thing. I want to
Yeah.
be part of this story. I don't want to wake up one day and my daughter is asking me, "Mom, let me take you back to Web 2 a little bit, yeah. During the colonial time, right?
Yeah.
A lot of people grabbed lands, right?
Mm.
They grabbed lands, and a lot of, and spaces, maybe in the government, the front row seats, right? And sometimes we sit down and wonder, where were our great grandfather when
What
this
were
all
they
was happening?
doing?
Right? Where were they when all this was happening? So I knew that I don't want that story to repeat itself. I
Mm.
don't want one day my great grandkids or my daughter was like, Nakwani Mami, where when Mami was, when all this, everyone, the Web3 conversation were going, when people were getting what they're getting in Web3 and positioning themselves, and learning this and understanding how to move money, tax free from Nigeria to Nairobi. Where was mother? I knew that, and it kept me going, because my conviction was that I believed in it. I believed it until today. I still believe that Web3 is where this is it. This is the thing. Yeah.
Mm. That's good.
Yeah.
And this also goes down to my question based on who you are as what you're doing here in the ecosystem. We are actually in a space where that is vastly populated by male competitors, male people, a lot of guys are in this ecosystem. How has the battle been for you? Because it's like you said, there were points where they tried suppressing you, where they were like, "Oh, they tried playing the stereotype card and everything against you, not so that you can be who you are today and all of that." How did you deal with guys in this space? How?
Sorry. Yeah. So, like I said, I've gotten crazy amount of support from the men.
Mm.
there's a small percentage of of those men who still believe an African woman can't lead, and
Mhm.
and and it goes around. Forget even me being a woman, even being where I come from, and you as a Nigerian, you face that stereotype, discrimination sometimes, right? You might go in an ecosystem and they want to hire, and they hear maybe you're from a different part of the world, and then the opportunity skips you. Yes
Mm.
or no?
Yes, very well.
Yes, so it's beyond me as a woman. It still goes back to even where I come from, and I have to fight for opportunities, and I have to prove myself double than my friends in Middle East, than my friends in Latam, and it's so disheartening that we're still having those conversations. You understand? And that's why we as African, we as women, we as people of the same color, people who are doing the same thing, have to be united. Have to you be united, and know that we are the deal. We are the deal. And yeah, and I've had a couple of my friends who lost their job, who lost opportunities because they came from West Africa. I've also had some people hearing, saying, oh, if you're even from Kenya, people who lost opportunities to their Latam friends or Latam colleagues because they came from Kenya. So I think it's a conversation that it has been there, and until I don't think we're still there yet. And you cannot handle on your own. Like, sometimes it's very disheartening, because I'll come to you with three bull, you'll tell me, you faced this. I'll go to someone else, they'll tell me they faced this, and I realize, oh, so I sincerely don't have a problem. It's not Miss Sonny who has a problem, it's them that have the problem with us.
Yeah.
Yeah, so even with the men that actually would feel insecure with a woman having a better position, I feel like it's not me, it's their insecurity. They're very insecure with who they are, what they do. And because, I mean, uh, look at home, mother take care of everything. She'll take care of the dad, she'll take care of the mom.
And the
So
children.
you don't have a
Yeah.
problem when you are doing all the responsibilities. So I'll tell my ladies that if you come across such kind of a crowd, just know that it's not you, it's them that have those insecurities. Yeah. And
Mhm.
if you look further, you will find people who are very, very supportive. Other, Kina crypto solutions, all these DG, I've found solution. Like, we have even Ayo from Web3 Bridge who supports. Like, we have all these men in the Web3 ecosystem that are actually, supporting ladies, and giving even opportunities to ladies, to lead and to be there. And yeah, 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 yeah. And what ecosystem should realize is that I'm gonna praise women here, because if you give the same opportunity to a man and a woman, trust
Mm.
me, a woman will over deliver than a man did.
Please, are we going to have this debate here? I think we are going to have
Hey,
another
I'm
session.
just, I'm just, I'm gonna overpraise my gender on this one, because I've seen, statistics don't lie, or experience don't lie. I've seen where women were put first, the kind of results they delivered, and where men were put first, the kind of results they delivered. So I will still consider having women on the front row and on the front seat.
Wow, that's good, or that's great and big. Aside, and this is contrary to a man's ideology in terms of working or seeing a woman as a leader. And I think it's one mindset a lot of guys have to actually understand and have, that always respect whosoever knows or does the job well. Either the gender, the age, whatever. Age and gender is not a respecter of knowledge. It's not. So regardless of how big you feel you are, or your gender, or whatever, respect whosoever gets the job done. If it's a lady that does it well, fine, let them lead. If it's a guy that still does it well, still allow the guy to lead, because this world we are in, everybody, we are all created individually or differently and uniquely, as much as we are different, right? So it's very, very important that we understand this, and not have gender apathy and have issues with who is leading and who is not leading, as long as the job is being done. So, Sonia, you were mentioned as one of Kenya's top ecosystem leader. Now, what does this recognition actually do to your self-esteem or to your morale as a person? Sorry, you're muted.
So it feels nice, of course. I mean, who doesn't want recognition? Who don't want to be praised? And It feels good. Let me just say, it means that the work that I'm doing is visible and that it matters. And there are people that I don't want to say it's for my ego, of course. It's not for my ego, but it makes me feel that the work that I'm doing is seen somewhere by someone and it's visible no matter what. And it really matters, And because, um however, I don't I usually it's a good feel, so to say, right? But I surely don't want it to ever make me, get over my head, and because I'm doing this for, I'm doing this for other women who don't understand how to go through this, I want her to see, to see this data, and to see this data, to see me on this podcast, to see me on this live, to see me and say this part is actually possible, and this
Mm,
profile, this person is legible. And
mm,
with that, that is the kind of contribution that really counts, and
mm,
separate from the title, it's personally means to me that being consistent is enough, no matter how long it is, being consistent is enough for me, that I'm gonna get there, baby steps, I'm gonna get there, and the ecosystem will see that I'm doing it, and it's gonna reward me for showing up, and doing what I'm doing. Do you understand? Yeah.
yeah, very well. Thank you so much for that. And big shout out to Asman Malika. And
Yeah.
I think she's
Hi,
somewhere there.
everyone.
She's ailing you, saying, "That's my boss." As we say it in Nigeria, it's called "That's my yoga." So, so
No,
amazing.
we are workmates, so to
Yeah.
say.
That's nice. Shout out to you, Axman, by the way. And so here's my next question now. There was a time you made a post that you had a 5-year mission. All right. So I'd love to know, are you seeing that mission actually coming into reality? That goal you had for the next 5 years, is it
Mhm.
coming into reality and is it playing out?
Oh yeah, like I said, I don't give up, right?
Mm,
No matter what it takes, for me it's a pipeline. It's building a pipeline. When you're building a pipeline, it doesn't end from here. It keep on going, going, and going. So every step I'm taking, every move I'm making, and every conversation I'm having, all the institutional knowledge I'm gathering, and of course all the community culture I'm creating, will actually mean it. It will consolidate, and in the next 5 years, I believe I'll be where I am, and the makers are, by year 2 or by year 3, I want to see more African-led investment in Africa,
mm,
sorry, African builders, and not just, philanthropy ones, it's actually capital conviction, right? I want to see that we are there. Maybe even by year 4, I want to see all the mentorship networks that I created are still strong enough. And let's say, for example, if I mentored you, or if, let's say, someone mentored this, all that, all those networks that I actually did, I want to see that they're actually growing and prolonging, and for me, so that I will know that my 5-year mission has actually gotten there, is that, and by 5 year, it's not really my timeline, it's not like really a timeline, it's saying when I know I'll have gotten that desire that I've been working hard on, is that I want to, when I go to, to global conferences, or when I go to global rooms where they're making decision, right? I want that the questions that are there, or the discussions have, have already originated from African community. Not
mm.
just, what happens, yeah, in majority, even when, let's say, founders from maybe Singapore or SF build these products, they build with the African context, not in Africa. Do you understand? So
Yes.
for me, I want to get to those global rooms, and see that the solutions that are being built have been built by African. The conversation that is actually happening there is from African, and not just by the context. Not like they come online and they check how. No, no, no. They felt it. It's felt by us. It's by us. It has originated here and later spread to the world. And
Mm,
and until I hear those questions, I will still know my 5-year plan is not yet there. And my mission, or our mission as African leaders, it's still not yet there.
mm.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for that, Sonia. And it's amazing to have a plan and to know that this is what you're working towards and what you're
Yes.
trying to achieve. And just in case, once again, you are joining us, we're about to wrap up in the next 10 minutes. we'll be done with this live stream. Please, if you're a lady and you want a source of inspiration, you want someone that you look up to and you feel inspired not to give up. This is someone that has been through the odds and she is where she is today because she never gave up. This is somebody that you have to follow and be close to her. Either you're in Kenya or not. As long as you're an African and you're a lady watching this, even though you're not a lady and you're a guy, because I'm also following her, please make sure, give her a follow on Twitter to encourage her also, because it's not easy to lead a lot of people in a world where crypto is seen as scam and people are not really buying the idea. So it's a lot of strength, a lot of motivation, inspiration to keep encouraging people to keep showing up or to be interested in learning this new technology. So do what, give a follow on Twitter, and I would really, really appreciate that. Thank you so much. So down to my own personal final question. And those of you that are watching, if you have questions, please can leave it in the chat. I will see it in the chat and bring the questions up for Sarah or Sonia. All right. So down to my last question. I don't see this as a question, but I would love you to speak from the depth of your heart to
Mhm.
a lady watching this right now, either from Nigeria, Zimbabwe, Uganda, South
Mhm.
Africa, and she is having a lot of discouragement, or she has a lot of blockers limiting her from being who she's meant to be. And she
Mhm.
knows somewhere on the inside of her she's meant to be a leader. But there are lots of odds. It could be societal odds and financial odds or whatever it is that is limiting her from coming out to be who she's meant to be. What's your message for such a lady watching right now?
Um, that the, that there's absolutely space for her, for her wherever she is, and I need her to, to hear that from someone who has been in this room, in that era, the actual room, not just highlight reel. Okay, and I want her to understand that this ecosystem is not full; it's starving for people. It's
Mm.
starving for talent. It's starving for people who understand this context, who have lived this context, people who can communicate, people who can build, trust across communities, who can translate between the technical and the human aspect of this. And you don't need to even know how to write the code. Just be here, be there, and you don't need to write that code for you to be essential. And no, no, no. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Sarah. Big shout out to Achad Ari. Thank you so much. I see you are joining us from Ireland or Ireland or how it's pronounced. Sorry if I'm not getting that right. Thank you for joining us today. And thank you so much, Sonia, for joining us. I really enjoyed this conversation and I look forward to keeping tabs with what you guys are building there in Kenya. And we hope to have a lot of Kenyan builders also on our live stream. We definitely appreciate having them on live streams and seeing how we can also push out what they are building for the world from Africa. Thank you so much, Sonia, for your time. I really appreciate it. Enjoy the rest of your week and
Thank
have
you so
fun.
much for having me.
You're welcome. And big shout out to
Awesome.
everybody actually joining us from Twitter. I can see we have about 80 people on Twitter and about
Nice.
3 persons on YouTube. Big shout out to you guys. Thanks so much for joining us. Please also don't forget to follow Sonia on Twitter. Very, very important. Important. Thanks so much and enjoy the rest of your evening. And bye for now. Bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Yes, bye.